Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Comics Lair for our first panel of 2024. We're discussing favorite comics and media adaptations or tie-ins for 2024. The Comics Lair, for 2023, oops. The Comics Lair is sponsored by Heroes Aren't Hard to Find and Heroes Convention. And we'll start by asking the panelists to introduce themselves, tell us a little about themselves, and how long they've been interested in comics and comics-related material. Marisa, will you start?
Sure. Hi, I'm Marisa Wolf. I am a science fiction and fantasy author, and I got my start reading comic books, stealing them from my father. So I'm a second-gen nerd, and I got to buy my own once I was like 10 or when I was like 10 or 11. So I've been reading since my dad let me put my grubby little child hands on his comics.
Okay, Robyn.
Hi, my name is Robyn. I am a podcaster. I have a podcast where we talk about diversity in indie comics. I didn't grow up with comics. We didn't have like the comic shop in our neighborhood or in the corner store. They didn't sell them in the grocery store. I've always been into nerdy things, but I didn't get into comics until maybe about almost 15 years ago or so, around like 2010. I started picking them up when I had disposable income and could buy them. Or also, my local library has an amazing selection of comics. So I was like, what are these things? Let me check them out.
Gini?
Hi, I'm Gini Koch. I write the Alien Catherine Kitty Cat series for Dog Books. I also write under a variety of other pen names in all lengths and genres. I'm a huge comics fan. I started reading them young. They weren't that trash wasn't allowed to come home. So when my mother or grandmother and I were at the market, I'd stand by the racks and just speed read every comic I could until I was dragged away. And I would always hope that they were going to take a long time shopping so I could get through more of them. Then in the 80s, I had enough money I could start buying my own again and basically haven't looked back.
Okay. Sumiko?
Yeah, hi. My name is Sumiko Saulsen. I'm a comic zine maker. I have put together comic zines Agrippa, and they lived long enough to bury their dead, and several others. And this is my cat, Marla. I love comics. I love comic book movies, and I'm really happy to be on this panel.
Mel?
Hi, I'm Mel Todd. I am the author of the Twisted Luck series, the Caleb Chronicles. I have lots of books out. It's one of those, after a while, you're just like, yeah, I have books. I have been into comics for pretty much forever. The first comics I remember reading is my dad had the collected in hardback of the original Wonder Woman comics. So the original of her wearing the little skirt, and there was all the bondage references and stuff when she was tied up. And that was probably the first comics I remember reading. And one of my dad's favorite stories was he went into the military. And when he got out, his brothers decided to be jerks, and they threw his comic collection into the burn barrel. And he had like originals from, my dad was born in 1940, so he had originals from the late 40s to the early 50s. I think he said it took him about 20 years to forgive his brothers.
Well, as I think I said at the beginning, my name is Nancy Northcott, and I write historical fantasy for Falstaff Books and paranormal romance. And with Jeannie Adams, I write the Outcast Station science fiction series. If you've watched these panels before, you probably remember that I've been reading comics since I was about 8. And my first ones were in the spinner rack era. So that's been a while ago. Today, we are going to talk about the books that we really liked in 2023, also games, movies, TV series, anything like that. And then if we have time, we might move on to the things that we really didn't like so much and the things that we bought because they looked appealing, but we haven't actually read them yet. So, Robyn, will you start and tell us something that you liked in that broad category last year?
Yeah, so my first one, I tried to find them all, but I couldn't find them, so I put pictures of them. My first one, I can't tell if you can see this or not, is called Brooms. So it is a historical fiction, historical fantasy set in 1930s America, but magic exists. Certain people have the ability to cast and use magic, but it is the Jim Crow South. It's set in 1930s Mississippi. So people of color have to have these very expensive licenses in order to use magic, which is kind of reminiscent to like the poll tax and literacy tests for voting. And so the story follows this group of young girls who are talented with magic, but if they don't have this license, their magic can be bound. And so it's called brooms because there are these kind of like races, these underground, not really, races that are technically illegal, but they're trying to race in them so that they can earn money in order to be able to pay for these licenses that they need to practice magic legally. So it's kind of an adventure story, queer romance. So it checks a lot of boxes for me.
Okay. Jenny, what about you?
I don't know if this counts, okay, but I am loving Monarch, which is adapted from one of the pick a Godzilla movie. Oh, it's so good. We're not done with it yet. It's so good.
I just started it a couple weeks ago. I'm with you, Jenny. Oh, I love it.
Good. And
so much.
All the Kurt Russell is my first love. Okay, we have had a very long-standing relationship, Kurt and I. And not only is Kurt Russell in this, but Wyatt Russell is in this. And I've seen Wyatt in other roles, but I have never seen him without facial hair in those other roles. And when he is shaved, I don't know if Goldie Hawn gave any DNA to that creation because he looks just like his dad. So the casting is like so good. Anyway, it's great and I love it. And I don't know how the season is ending. Yeah. Robyn?
Oh no, keep going. When you're done, I was like,
do you know when if we're getting I think it's already confirmed for a second season. It is so good. And literally it'll finish and every time I go, was this just a half an hour? And my husband's like, no, it was an hour. It doesn't feel like it. It is just unbelievably fabulous storytelling. And it's so good. And I don't care what it adapted from. It adapted from Godzilla, and I'm going to stand with that.
Robyn, what did you want to say?
So when I was watching the credits for that, Matt Fraction is one of the developers of that. And one of the writers is Mariko Tamaki, the comic writer. So it's definitely got some comic people behind the scenes working on that. So when I saw that, I was like,
so good.
It's so good. Yeah. So
tell me what you think. When we both get to the end, we both get to the end, you have to tell me what you think because I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know.
Well, before we move on from that, though, where can people see it?
Oh gosh, it's streaming on
Apple.
Oh. My husband just screamed that from the other room. Nice. So yeah, it's on Apple TV. It's worth the subscription.
Okay.
Yeah, Apple's doing all the good stuff lately. Yeah. It's like the only one I don't have a subscription to. I'm gonna have to change that.
Yeah.
Or just get it and then binge
everything for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Binge Foundation for All Mankind and Monarchs.
Yeah.
So good.
And Severance. Is Severance good? It looks
really good. Severance as well. Yeah.
Long binge.
Okay, Sumiko, what about you?
So I had to run out and take a look at this, and I actually got this back in February. And this is The Keeper, which is Tanana Ridu and Stephen Barnes, and it's illustrated by Marco Finnegan. And so this is like, it's a horror story, honestly. So, in the story, the girls, it's like, it starts out almost like a superhero story, right? Because the girl's family dies tragically in a car accident, and her grandmother is taking care of her, and her grandmother dies. And her grandmother invokes the spirit of the keeper to come and protect her. But it's not a superhero novel because it's a horror novel. So it starts out actually taking care of her, but then it starts devouring the life forces of other residents in the apartment building. So it's scary, but it's got some gorgeous illustrations in it.
Well, cool. Mel, what got a project to recommend?
So it's kind of cheating because it originally started in 2019, but she's still been posting new episodes and working on it. I occasionally delve into webcomic and get addicted for a long time. But if you haven't run into Laura Olympus is just amazing. It is the retelling of the love story between Hades and Persephone, and actually writes it as a love story. And the artwork is very fascinating. I'm one of these people who get, like, you pick up a comic book and the cover is just gorgeous. You're like, oh my gosh. And you open it and you're like, what the no, I want that. Well, her artwork through the entire thing is very watercolor brush strokes, which I normally don't go for, but she gives all of the gods and all of the characters their own color. So like Zeus is a really dark blue purple, and Hades is a light blue green, and Persephone is a bright hot pink, and they are this consistent color through the entire series. The story is interesting. It's rewriting it not so much as an abduction and rape, but more of a daughter pulling against her mother's need to keep her tight. And if you haven't seen it, the first two are actually out in paperback formats, and she's writing the third season right now. And trust me, I'm going to buy them all again because I keep giving them away as gifts.
Marisa?
So I have been out of the habit of reading comics since I moved into an RV. And as of about a week ago, I moved out of an RV. So we'll see if I'm able to pick it back up. But I also, as soon as Robyn said her library has comics, I was like, I have to immediately check that out. Amazing. Love libraries. So mine is, I'm going to go with the movie first. I loved The Marvels, and I don't care what the internet has to say about it. I thought it was charming. I thought it was wonderful. I laughed out loud so many times. I teared up at least twice. So you give me good emotions, you give me a fun story, and you give me characters who are enjoying hanging out with each other. I'm in. Also, Kamala Khan can do no wrong. Put her on my TV screen at all times. Thank you, the end.
Well, for me, Mel reminded me of this when she mentioned webtoons, because I've been reading the Wayne Family Adventures webtoons, and it's based on the theory that the Bat family is a family not headed by a dysfunctional psychotic. And so I really like the family dynamics in that strip. I know a lot of hardcore Batman fans hate it, and that's fine, to each their own, but I really like it a lot. It's currently on hiatus for the start of the next quote unquote season, but there's like 100 and some episodes. So if you just Google Wayne Family Adventures webtoon, it will come up and you will have plenty to watch. I love the art. I like the character dynamics. I love the way Barbara Gordon is, yes, Oracle, as she should be. And I like the dynamics among the Bat Boys, the brothers, and I like the way Cass and Steph kind of fit in it. So I really would recommend that for anybody who's looking for something new and a little different to read. So let's go around again with things that we would recommend. And Gini, I think it's your turn to start.
Okay. We watch I Am Groot because my kitten loves it. I swear to you, my cat, that he's like not even 2 years yet, he is fascinated by certain things on the television, and he loves Baby Groot. He loves it. Any other character comes on, he could not care less. Rocket the raccoon comes on, he's just like, when is the good character gonna be back? This cat, who he watches that in the aquarium function on Roku, but he loves it, and he's fascinated. He's just like, and he's on the edge of his little seat, his little paws are all tight. And then it stops, and he's just like, yeah, okay, where? I've never had an animal that cared about television, and this one only cares about Groot. He loves Baby Groot, so he watched that as like a reward. You've been a good cat all day. He watches, and the other cat's just like, and the dogs are like, I don't get it. There's not a dog, right? And the kitten is just like, this is the most fascinating thing I've ever seen. Such a hero. Well, he gets into all sorts of trouble. So it's really cute. It's obviously it's aimed for kids, but he's a baby, so it counts. But it's really sweet and really cute and they're very short. So they're a fun thing to do. So if you're desperately searching for something else for the little ones, the I'm Groot series is really cute. It's all baby Groot.
Okay. Sumiko?
Yeah. So I really like the Spider-Man with Miles Morales. It was great. It was so good. And one of the things that was really great about it was, well, the character development, the storyline, and we all love Miles, but also they had so many little like moments with different Spider-Men from different universes just going through this multiverse, like the one moment three Spider-Men are pointing at each other and stuff like that. It was really great, and I also love Gwen in this universe. So yeah.
Okay. Mel?
I was so pissed because I have to back up and explain something. I'm old. I remember watching the Saturday afternoon made for TV movies of Spider-Man. Okay. And I watched all of them. And then I watched Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And then I watched all the Tobey Maguire version. And by the time Spider-Man Through the Multiverse came out, I'm like, I don't care. I haven't seen Long Way Home. I'm like, I am never watching another Spider-Man movie again because all they do is tell the origin story over and over and over again. I'm done. Everybody had raved about this. And so I finally went, okay, I'm going to watch it. I watched it. I was like, holy moly, this is the best writing I have ever seen. So the next one comes out. I'm like, bye, Amazon, bye. And I sit down and I've got my stuff and I'm watching and I hit pause and I'm like, there's only 15 minutes left. Play. What do you mean it's a two-parter? I was so pissed. If I had realized it was a two-parter, I would have bought, but I would have waited until this next part came out so that I could watch it just, back to back. But so I have not read this yet, but I have heard a couple people absolutely rave about it. And has moved it up to one of I'm going to buy hard copy. It is called, I'm going to try not to mispronounce it, Shubek Lubeck by Dina Mohammed. And it is a comic book. And by comic book, I mean the book is this thick of all the art about, and it's written by an Egyptian woman about genies and wishes and stuff coming true. And it's told from this totally different perspective that I don't get exposure a lot to as an American. I don't often see true Egyptian portrayals. And so I actually am really excited about it, especially like one of the first ones is somebody gets a genie and they're like, you get one wish because she only bought a small genie. I'd like to lose some weight. I'd like to lose 10 kilos. And the genie's like, not a problem. Her leg falls off. So it's that sort of stuff. I have to say, I mean, the reviews have been incredible about it. And I'm just excited to actually see something from a totally different story perspective as opposed to the chosen one hero thing, which I'm kind of burned out a little bit on because I read too much fantasy.
Marisa?
I'm going to jump on Sumiko's point about Across the Multiverse. I loved it. I was pissed that it was a cliffhanger, but it was an amazing cliffhanger. And I trust that they're going to bring it home. And I love multiverse stories, which is why I was so disgusted with Doctor Strange, because it was not a multiverse movie. But I felt, I'm just working in the thing.
Well, when we get to the rant spot, yeah. I have a rant.
I have so many rants, but it's okay.
I have several rants. Yeah,
so many rants. But the Miles, oh man, I loved it. It was so good. And the whole time I did the same thing. I paused it and I was like, why are we so close to the end? What? This is not resolved. And then they're like, no spoilers. Bam, this thing happens, and then it's over, and you're like, emotional damage. It's fine.
Robyn?
My next one is another graphic novel called Stars in Their Eyes. I wasn't actually able to get this one from the library in time for the panel. I had read it earlier in the year, and I was trying to recheck them out so I could show people the covers. But this one was another very cute one. So the protagonist is a disabled person who is a nerd and saves up and gets to go to her first Comic-Con. And she takes her mom, and her mom is a woman after my own heart. She loves Star Trek Voyager and Star Wars. And I was like, she is me. I am her. And it's just like super cute. So it's like her day at the con, and she meets this other kid, and a non-binary kid, and they just kind of spend the day together, and it's super cute. But one of the things that I really love about it is throughout her day, because she has chronic pain, and she has I think it's phantom leg syndrome or something like that, that causes chronic pain. We get to see like the little things that she does that to just make her day a normal day, you know, making sure she has snacks, making sure she's paying attention to places where she can go to rest. And it made me think about like when I've been at conventions and I've seen like quiet rooms and spaces and things like that. And, you know, you kind of look at it and say like, oh, that's neat. And to actually see the telling of a person who, for them, that is a key component to them being able to share the spaces that we all want to make sure are inclusive and welcoming to everyone. To just be able to see someone share their experience and share it in a joyful way was really cute and really heartwarming. And the art is adorable and they're so cute. I love them. It's wonderful.
Well, when Jenny was talking about the cat being fascinated with Baby Groot, we had a golden retriever, and we went through a period of watching the Thin Man movies. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Nick and Nora had a dog named Asta. Mm-hmm. And the first time Asta barked, the dog's head lifted up, and she started looking at the TV. And like that, after that, it was like she was watching the movie. Mm-hmm. It was really kind of spooky because I'd always heard dogs can't see things that are in 2 dimensions. But she acted like she was seeing it. I don't know if she was seeing it or just hearing it, but it was really cool. But what I wanted to recommend is Mark Waid's World's Finest comic book. It's now called Batman Superman as opposed to Superman Batman as it was in the Silver Age, but okay. But Mark Waid has been writing World's Finest for 2 years now. And it's one of the first books I pull out of the bag when I bring books home from the store. The art is by Dan Mora, and it's really good. And they had an issue last year that explains why Robin and Supergirl can't have a relationship. They went on a date, and it was a freaking disaster. And it was cute. It was funny, but underneath it, it was kind of sad because these people are just not compatible. But he made it sympathetic. It's not like, geez, Robin's such a jerk, or, well, God, Supergirl what are her standards? They're too high. No, I mean, he wrote it so that both characters were super sympathetic, no pun intended, and it was heartwarming and amusing at the same time. Although I do admit that Robin was one of my first book boyfriends, as Romance Writers of America like to say. Mm-hmm. And in all his incarnations, I have followed him, and I really kind of felt sorry for him reading that book. But it was really beautifully done. I mean, it's a great story. It's great art, issue after issue after issue. And if you're not reading it, you really should pick up. I'm sure the first ones are in a compilation already, and you should check that out. So
Dan Mora's art he's in there. He's one of the names that I'm like, if I see his name on something, I'm like, let me peep that.
Yeah, him and Bruno Redondo is, I think, my personal opinion, others may disagree, that Bruno Redondo is a big factor in the success of the Nightwing book. I think the art is stronger than the story. And I say that, it was, you know, Dick Grayson, first book boyfriend. But anyway, that kind of leads into, we were discussing rants a minute ago. And so why don't we go around and you can mention something that you like and want to recommend, or you can mention something that's kind of disappointing. And if you would like to go off on a rant, that's okay too. And I see Jenny rubbing her hands, but it's Sumiko's turn to start. So,
I'm waiting.
Sumiko, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I actually want to talk about something that I like. Okay, so it started actually at the end of 2022, but it was continuing through this 2023, so it still counts. So I love Health Quest. I have been a huge fan since I was 18 years old, and they actually did an audio movie, Health Quest: Journey to Sorrow's End. And there's a lot to like about it. For those of you who are fans of Supernatural, they had Ostrich Chow was playing Skywise in this. They had so many really, really, really cool different types of stars, voice stars, acted at talent in this. And it was also something that we as fans funded. So it was fan funded. So I'm very excited about that. And you can go to the, you can get the audio file and download it now because it's readily available. But yeah, just wanted to talk about that.
Okay. Mel, what about you? Rant or rave?
Well, I'll rave for a minute. I mean, my rant's old. I've been ranting about it for years at this point. So this is stretching it a bit. I'd like to point out that there were cartoons. But can we talk about the Barbie movie?
I don't see why not.
I think that.
They had comics.
Honestly, yeah, I'm like, they had cartoons, they had comics and stuff. I went into that movie. So Dragon Con 2023, Barbie everywhere. I hadn't seen the movie at that point.
I still haven't. No
Me
spoilers.
there, yeah.
Yeah. So there were a lot of the in-jokes that were visually present in Dragon Con that I actually wish I had seen the movie, because I have to admit that in the long run, it's a very good movie and really does, even for me, who is not a huge Barbie person, and I really wasn't. I had a few, and I had more than a few where the hair had been cut off and the heads had been cut off and that they had been used as, whatever. It is actually a very interesting movie and well worth it, even though parts of it are darn near dystopian. And I mean, in some ways, I was talking to a male friend who had seen it, and he's like, yeah, the beginning of that's like my dystopian nightmare. And I'm like, honestly, it's my dystopian nightmare too, because that just looked horrible. Though I have to admit, I did like when she was, drinking the milk, and I'm like, I know if I could just drink air and stay skinny, that would be nice. So I have to say, if you haven't seen the Barbie movie, go into it without any preconceptions, because you might be surprised as to what the movie's actually about.
I had one of the blonde ponytail, black and white striped swimsuit Barbies. I'm that old. I did. I think she met a very unpleasant fate due to dogs at one point.
Oh,
There was like a case that Barbie would be here in her dresses and would like click and stuff. My cousin, I think, gave it to me because my dad was the youngest, and so my brother and I were the youngest of all the cousins. So my next cousin was like a decade older than I was, and so I think I got that as hand-me-downs, and we played for like a week, and then went, yeah, we had better things to do. But Barbie.
Marisa, rant or rave?
I was gonna rant about Secret Invasion, but I remember I did that on a comics panel fairly recently. So I will stay positive currently. I would like to talk about how charming Blue Beetle was. I didn't watch it. What?
No, I had kind of expected it to be a little stupid, and it was actually adorable.
It was,
and I love the fact of the strong Hispanic. So my sister-in-law watched it with me, and she's fully bilingual. Oh my gosh, it was so great to actually see a movie that had bilingual stuff that seemed 100% natural. That part of it was just great. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
No, that was great. I thought it was so fun. I did I saw a little bit what people were talking about, because there was some tonal shifts that were very rapid. Whereas I'm still crying about a thing that happened, but now we're making jokes. Okay, I'm back. I'm ready. I'm okay. But as a whole, I thought it was great. I thought it was one of the best movies DC has pulled off in the past couple of times that they have attempted. And I hope that it will continue. I don't know that they've confirmed or denied if they're going to continue with that cast moving forward, but I really hope they do because I thought it was great.
And where can people see it?
I think it's streaming on Max.
Okay.
But it's streaming, so if you've got the thing, you can watch it, and that's what I did, and it was delightful.
Buy it from Amazon. Amazon had a really big sale, like Christmas weekend, so I got that for like $4.99.
Nice. Yeah, it was genuinely a delight. I strongly recommend.
Robyn?
I have a rave. Someone else had this checked out at the library, so you're gonna have to look at my screen again. Unfortunately, it doesn't come up very well. But my next one is Cosmic Detective. So it's written by Jeff Lemire, and I love Jeff Lemire stuff, and Matt Kent. So they co-collaborated on that, and the artist is David Rubin. The art is so quirky. I love it so much. This is actually the second collaboration that I've read between Matt Kent and David Rubin. They have another one called Ether. And it's just so weird. I love it so much. It's kind of like magical sci-fi detective story. And half the time you're like, okay, I'm picking up what you putting down. And the other half of the time you're like, I don't know what the heck is going on, but I'm here with it. Okay. And it's just so fun. It's just like a fun ride. And like I said, the art is just like super quirky. And yeah, it was just a ton of fun.
Jenny?
I'm going to be ranting, but I want to give a very quick thing. We just did not see a lot of movies this year. I'm refusing to go out to the movie theater, not like for any deep, meaningful reason. Just I got trained through, the virus troubles, to watch everything at home, and the realization of being able to get pause and make my own snacks and not have to hear some idiot sharing, oh, this is what happened, he's got to kill the boy or something, which we've gone through all of that. I can't do it anymore. I'm like literally like the movies I desperately want to see. I want to see Barbie in the theater. I'll be waiting till it's free on streaming, which I think is soon. I want to see half of what you guys talked about, and I just have not. Sadly, on the positive note, I get to see movies when I'm flying, and I did a lot of travel last year, and I was super excited because I want to back this up. I'm old enough that I watched the Shazam and ISIS hour on television every weekend, and I really liked it. And I actually liked Shazam better than ISIS. The stories were better, etc. So I've been a Shazam fan for a really long time. I liked the Shazam movie. My husband did not, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. I thought it was I liked how they did the found family. I liked everything. I thought it was cute. I didn't notice that the main kid was a little old for his role. I've been watching, 35-year-olds play high school teenagers since Grease. Hi, Stockard Channing, right? So I accepted it. I rolled with it. My husband absolutely refused to see or stream Fury of the Gods. He's like, I hated the first one that you bought. I don't want to watch another one, right? I'm on the plane and Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and it's a 5-hour flight, and I'm ready. Wow. And it stars my favorite actress, Lucy Liu. Wow. This movie sucks. Hard. Okay, number one, maybe I didn't notice 5 years ago that the kid playing a 14-year-old was too old for the role, but I don't know how they would have literally had to do the cinematic de-aging like they did on Harrison Ford to make this kid look like he isn't old enough to drive. He's old enough to drink. He's old enough to run for president. That's how old this guy looks, okay? So that's awful. The family dynamic is tested yet again. Okay, fine, whatever. The found family portions are still good. And now we're fighting with a different fractured family. Right? Okay, Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren should have ensured that this was a fabulous movie. Individually, they're fine. oh my God, the script is terrible. The acting is, is what it is. If you're a good actor, you're coming across okay. If you're 55 years too old for the role, you're coming across as 55 years too old for the role. The big action sequence, the bad guys are bringing down. I'm going to spoiler this movie because no one should waste their time. The bad guys are bringing down all the fantasy creatures, dragons and this and that, but not unicorns. Why not unicorns? Well, it turns out unicorns are the most badass of all the things. They're like Clydesdales with, giant horns of steam. And actually, that was kind of cool. The youngest of the children that are Shazam's Shazami family, also too old to be playing the role now because she's aged, a million years. So she's too young to be playing like she's 7 when she's clearly needing pushed down in on a minimizer bra. How does she tame them? Oh, if you've seen E.T., you already have a guess. Oh, what do they like? They taste the rainbow. She gives them Skittles and literally says, "Taste the rainbow." I'm like, how much money did DC get from Skittles for that? Because nothing seems more like that was the most embarrassing product. They probably wrote this whole scene so Skittles would pay the money. It is awful. I hope they do not make another one. It retroactively, I don't want to watch the Shazam I own ever again. It's like I have to do a full rewatch of Elementary to regain my love of Lucy Liu again because she allowed herself to be in this. It's like, oh, it's awful. Do not go. Believe the critics that hated it. It sucks.
It was bad.
And I'm done.
Well, I have a mixed rant and rave. It's Lois and Clark, Superman and Lois, whatever this current incarnation is called. Superman and Lois, I think it is.
Yeah.
Lois had breast cancer, a very aggressive form of breast cancer, and that was the central storyline. I mean, there was superhero adventure stuff too, but that was in every episode. And for me, that was difficult because I had breast cancer 10 years ago. And the way I deal with having had breast cancer is I don't think about it. And all these commercials that come on TV about, oh, you should take this and live your best life with breast cancer, I mute them because I don't like to think about it. And oncologists told me that actually those drugs they advertise are good for about 5% of patients. So you're throwing this in my face for virtually nothing. And I will say I was very, very lucky because it was caught early. And I'm looking for some wood as opposed to synthetic wood to knock here. But I just don't think about it. And so every time I watched Superman and Lois, I had to think about it. But I thought that they handled it with sensitivity. But I also thought that the younger boy, the one with powers, and I'm blanking on his name. Well, they're twins. The one with powers was really being a jerk and kind of stupid about doing things that would get attention and make him conspicuous and bring his powers to the public fore, despite his parents saying, don't do that. And, they do kind of know more than you do about this. So why are you doing this? Especially when you see that it makes trouble. But that really is the part that's not just me reacting to something. That's my issue with the story. And I did think that the actor who stepped in, Michael Bishop, I think his name is, because Jordan Elsass left the show after the second season. I thought he did a great job. He stepped in. They acted like brothers. The family dynamic worked out. I really wish people in Smallville would buy lamps. They do have those in rural America. Everything is dark. So it's kind of a mixed. I love the actors. I think they're all terrific. I could have done with a little less with Cushing family's drama, and so I won't miss that in the season coming. And I liked the friendship between Lois and Lana. That Lana's the person Lois talked to about her concerns about the aftermath of her cancer. So mixed rant and rave for me on that one. But I'm looking forward to the show coming back because I just think Bitsy Tulloch and Tyler Hoechlin, that relationship is the heart of the show. And I think they do it really, really well. So we have time for maybe one more round. So Mel, I think it's your turn to start. Rant or rave, and why?
Oh Lordy, I almost run out of stuff. So I really am a pretty big comic books person, and I've greatly enjoyed the MCU regardless of all of the errors and flaws and stuff they have. But I think I don't think it came out in 2023, but at this point, my years. But I like having Black Adam and them actually showing the difference between a superhero and a guardian. And I like that because I think we get too lost into the idea that a hero is always going to save everybody and never hurt anybody and is always perfect. And I kind of like the darker aspect. Now, don't get me wrong. In the comic books, Black Adam is ruthless as all get out. You cross the line and he'll just kill you and keep right on going and never even blink. But it was nice. And I actually even liked how they said, we don't need a hero. We need a guardian. And guardians are going to kill. And that's one of the things I guess I've been having fun with in my writing is teasing out that difference between where do you cross the line between being a good person and being what you need to be. I don't know if I'm making myself, because we always talk, he's not a good person, but he's a good man, or he's a good man, a good man, but not a good person. I like seeing some of the darker stuff that some of the comic books have been playing with. You got a little bit of it with the Winter Soldier. They touched on it just a tiny bit. You have Black Adam. And I'm seeing a few more come out, especially with the Black Panther movie, the latest one with Kilgore, just adding a little bit more darkness, but not making them evil. I like this change up, that it's not as black and white a world when it comes to what's the appropriate actions to things.
Marisa?
Speaking of dark, my light came back on, but I don't know what it's doing back there. But speaking of dark, I really enjoyed Gen V this last year. So I watched The Boys half the time like this, because some of it gets a little much for me. I'm a little bit of a baby about that. And Gen Z had a little bit of that too. But it was good. Like, I was so interested because with The Boys, I like it. I will still watch it, but it's exhausting with the everybody's terrible. Everybody's terrible. Nope. You thought this person was good. Nope. Terrible. But in Gen V, they're college kids, so they haven't quite decided who they want to be as people yet. And they still believe a lot of the stories. And so they still want to be heroes or be whatever. And I love the main character. I thought it was a really, really great show. And I'm excited to see the next season of The Boys, but I'm much more excited to see the next season of Gen V.
Yes, The Boys was too dark for me. I'm I'm watching this and I'm depressed by the end of the episode. I don't need it this dark. I have the life. I can watch the news and be this depressed.
Yeah, at least it's still fiction mostly. So,
Robyn, rant or rave?
Oh, I've got two more and two honorable mentions. Okay.
Just hold them up. Speed run.
Okay, speed run. Okay, so again, couldn't get them from the library, so I had to look at pictures. One of them was 8 Billion Genies. And so the creative team is Charles Sewell and Ryan Brown, and they also did another series that I love called Curse Words, which is absolutely hilarious. This one follows so every person on Earth gets a genie that will grant them one wish, hence the name 8 Billion Genies. So in the very beginning, it is a dumpster fire. So the story unfolds where there's this group of people that are kind of I'm gonna wait and see what everybody else does with their wishes, and I'm gonna see how this plays out. So the story really kind of takes off with those people who have their wishes left, wait around and figure out what they're going to do. And also kids have wishes too. So there are a lot of young children who are not of an age where they understand what's happened yet. So they come of age and they still have their wishes. So the story kind of unfolds with really kind of like telling us about ourselves, telling humans about themselves. And I'm sorry, Nancy, I'm gonna be fast, I promise.
Okay.
My other
Take half of my slot, Robyn. I got nothing.
oh, thank you. So my other fave, the screen is killing me, is The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. So just to Marissa's point, I totally get what you're saying about the contrast between like the boys and Gen V, where you still have like some hope. That's kind of why I like a lot of like YA comics that are like so cute, and it's like they're trying to figure out things, but they're very hopeful. So sometimes they're going through the same things that we're going through, but they're still very hopeful about it, and that almost makes them make better decisions because they're not jaded yet. So they make these very positive, hopeful decisions. But it's about it's an alternative historical fiction, and it's about a young woman who she can't inherit her father's wealth because she's a girl. So she decides she's going to pretend to be a boy. And then she falls in love with another girl. And so then the story unfolds because the girl falls back in love with her, but she thinks she's a boy. So trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do. So it's just adorable when they, kind of falling over each other, trying to like each other, but not like each other kind of thing. And it's wonderful. And thank you, Jennifer. I'll be quick. I'll try to be quick. So this one is kind of a cheat because technically it came out in 2001 and 2002 in Japan, but the English translations just came out in 2003. So
that counts.
So English translations. So this is Joker 1 Operation Joker. So the premise of this, Batman and Joker are fighting. Batman falls into a vat of acid that de-ages him into a baby. And so the Joker's like, what the heck am I going to do? My whole life is fighting Batman and proving that justice is false. What am I going to do? I guess I'm going to have to raise that baby. Now raising the Bat baby. So you've got the Joker making baby formula, clipping coupons for diapers, and threatening to murder anybody that wakes up Bat baby from his nap. So it's like what the heck is happening? So yeah, this is my honorable mention. All right.
That sounds good. I didn't realize it was all supposed to be all comics, even though it's comics Lair. So my only other rant/rave, which is an adaptation from last year that I actually saw, was A Haunting in Venice. Didn't hate it nearly as much as I hated Ken Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express. So there's that. My husband really liked it for its atmospheric quality. I guessed who had done it way too early, and was saddened that I was right. It's fine. Of the Branagh Poirots, if you must, that's the one I'd recommend. There we go.
Okay. Sumiko?
Okay, so not a lot of people know this, but Sweet Tooth, if you've ever seen it, is actually based on a comic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this isn't exactly like a rave review, but I do think it's actually a pretty cute show. So it's a sci-fi dystopic show with children in it, little kids in it, and all the kids have different they've been gene spliced with different types of animals and stuff like that. So they have like the main character has the reindeer horns, and they have one like that has a skunk power and different other kinds of things like that. And they're supposed to be like humans are afraid of them, but they're so adorable because they're little tiny kids. You know what I'm saying? So it really makes it seem like the human beings are monstrous because they're like trying to, something bad has happened to the environment and they genetically splice them in order to save mankind. But then they aren't mankind because they're mutants, so they're not really us. Therefore, we're not going to protect them. But they really actually are us because they're animal-human hybrids. Just saying. So of course, there's evil humans trying to abduct them and experiment on them and trying to save the rest of the human, race by sacrificing them, which is totally messed up. The CGI is super cheesy sometimes. It's just bad. So the special effects are not as good as they could be. But the kid actors are actually really charming. So they have a lot of really cute kid actors that are doing a really great job. And, it kind of like sometimes reminds me of, a more innocent time when they had, like the Goonies and stuff that they had when like I was a kid. So I guess it makes me feel kind of nostalgic, in a way. Because, it's not like, the Hunger Games where they have human sacrifices and stuff like that. They make it very clear that, trying to hunt down and, cannibalize little kids is just like really bad. So, yeah, cute show, like it.
Well, my last one, I've been sitting here while everybody else was talking, trying to decide whether to go with a combination rant rave or a pure rave. And so I think I'm just going to go with the rave, and that's Mandalorian season 3. I really liked the character dynamics in there. I love the resolution with, is that the Steelbook?
No, it's the manga adaptation of season 1.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
So fun.
Well, I liked the dynamics between the evolution of Grogu's character. And you have to remember, I'm a person who went from, if I see Baby Yoda in my Twitter feed one more time, my head is going to explode, to, well, of course I can make room for this lovely Baby Yoda if I can get it to show up. Anyway, it's a Baby Yoda, Grogu, whatever his name is. It's not showing up. That's so perverse.
Put it
anyway,
right in front of your face. Put it right in front of your face. There.
There we go.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh.
So it sits here for my cell phone. Now, half the time I forget to put my cell phone in it, but I have Grogu sitting here on my desk. But I know a certain segment of the fandom was really upset about the prominence given to Katie Sackhoff's character. But I thought that was a good callback to the Mandalore situation that was set up in season 1 with these Mandalorians who don't wear their helmets all the time. And it kind of was a little bit more of an exploration of the different approaches to being Mandalorian.
And it connected to Rebels.
Yeah, and it connected to Rebels. And, I think sometimes I'm at a disadvantage because I haven't seen a lot of the animated shows. Like with Ahsoka, okay, Ezra's our friend and we're going to look for him, but why is he so wonderfully awesome that we're doing this? Because I hadn't seen the animated series. But Mandalorian, I thought the season finale was so good. It seemed like the pacing was perfect. The intercutting between scenes was timed precisely. The fight where the Mandalorian is trying to get through to, and naturally I'm forgetting the villain's name, but the guy with the armor, who's played by Giancarlo Esposito really well. He's trying to get, yes, thank you. He's trying to get through to him, and it's a stage at a time, and every stage it's a spoiler. It's been out like almost a year. If that's spoiling it for you, I'm sorry. And he acquires a weapon at the end of each fight. So as he wins each fight, he comes out of it better than he went into it. And I thought I think in that series, the difference between the stunt actor and the actor who does the rest of it is just seamless. They integrate it perfectly. And I love the finale, the way everything came together in that big fight in the underground base. And when the Imperials fired on the cruiser, and the guy at the very end is sitting in the cruiser and he's going to drive it in to destroy the base. And then he bails, not by going out a door, but by using his Mandalorian weaponry to shoot out a window, and he goes out that way. And I have nothing to quibble with about that finale. And like I said, I've watched it 5 times because of the way the intercutting is done and the pacing, and I'm trying to learn from it. So I watch it all the time. So we are right at an hour. Does anybody want to mention one more thing before we close? Yes, Mel.
This is not 2023, but if you're on webcomics and you want a cute, feel-good, kind of magical romance, read Crumbs. It's free, it's completed, and Crumbs is just one of the most adorable comics I have read in ages. So there's my... Because I'm blaming Robyn. I've already put 3 books on my Amazon cart because of her. So
many things down.
Go read something for free. It's free. It's on webcomics. All you have to do is just have a login, and you can watch Crumbs for free or read Crumbs for free.
CRUMBS, Crumbs?
Yep. Like
Thank
Puff and
you.
Crumbs.
Nice.
It's just adorable, and the artwork's really cute too.
I just wanted to say, like, last year there were so many disappointing things that I watched, and I was like, man, this like really let me down. And I meant to use this phrase earlier when talking about Gen V, but I still feel so fucking lucky that we have so many things. Like we have so many adaptations. There's so many comics. There's so many things. Like I don't feel like I had this like diversity of options when I was 12. You know, this is it's freaking awesome. So I kept reminding myself of that every time I watched something. I was like, womp womp. Like at least there are things to womp womp about.
Yeah.
The problem that I'm having is that I'll get these things from con directors, and they'll be like, check off all the things that you're involved in that you can talk about. I'm like, I don't have time. I'm like thinking, I've watched 2 movies in the last year. They're like, have you watched this series? No. I'm like going, I don't have this level of time anymore, people. And now there's all this stuff that I would have killed to have as a teen, young adult. And I'm like, I don't have the time.
I know the Dragon Con forum. I'm like, everything I'm listing other than the Orville is ancient, and even the Orville feels kind of ancient right about now. I have nothing new. List some cozy mysteries. Maybe I can cover that, right? So yeah, no, I'm with you. It's just like I don't have time. So that's why I was so ranty on the ones I'm ranty on, because I gave them time and they disappointed. Even in the airplane where I could have done anything else. I could have watched anything else other than
Spider-Man did not disappoint. It is, if you were a writer, you should go and watch them. They are the best, the epitome of the Spider-Man in the multiverse.
Yeah. So
the epitome of how to write cross purposes, where every single character had a viable goal, a goal that makes sense to you, and they're all colliding nonstop. It was literally, I want to write stories at that level.
Yeah, it's on the list. Like almost anything good GL mentioned is on our list. We're just creeping very slowly towards it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Any final note? Robyn, did you want to?
Since you guys mentioned webtoons, there's one that I want to mention as well that I absolutely love. That's so cute. It's called Daybreak, but it's about a young boy, and it's 2 young boys, and you've got the grumpy one who's like super cute but always grumpy, and then like the adorable cute one that's like, hey, hi y'all. And it's just like, I just love that dynamic where you have like the grump and the sweetheart. And it's just kind of like slice of life. They're like figuring out that they like each other. And then like.
There's 107 episodes. Yes.
Yes, I know. And it's like, and when it came to the end and it was like, we're going on hiatus, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? But now I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to read Crumbs. So thank you for that.
Laura Olympus is on Webtoons too. Laura Olympus is on Webtoons. So take a look at both of them.
Sumiko, did you want to add any final note?
Well, I guess there isn't really that much to say. That I have to say, honestly, but
I am just astonished that your cat can balance like that. All of mine are monsters.
I'm jealous. I want to bring my cat over and say, look, it's not baby Groot, but look at this cat. Look at how good this cat is. Look how this cat is perched. This is your job.
My cat only weighs about 6 pounds, so I think it's easier when the cat is kind of small. But I had to train her to do that because during the pandemic, she was getting mad because I wasn't paying attention to her, so she was sleeping on my keyboard. It's really hard to type with a cat. Sleep on your keyboard. So that's how.
Good job on the training.
Yeah.
Thank you.
On that note, I think we'll need to close it out. Tell people where they can find information about you and your work. If you have a recent or an upcoming release that you would like to spotlight, this would be the time. And Marisa, I think we're back to you.
Okay. Hi, MarisaWolf.net, MarisaWolf.com. I go both ways. And if you like books and you like dogs, you can find me on Instagram at BookDogs. My most forthcoming release is, I only have a bookmark. That's how forthcoming. It's called Beyond Enemies. It is my debut solo novel. It's coming out from Baen Books February 6th. And, you know, it's age-old tale of a girl and her tank and their adventures.
Okay. Robyn?
You can find our podcast, Diversity Issues, wherever you get your podcasts. And our website is diversityissues.libsyn.com.
Gini?
GiniKoch.com. I'm all over social media, and I'm in most places. I'm the only Gini Koch, and on Twitter, if you hit the other Gini Koch, she's really cool, and will tell you how to find me. I have my upcoming release in February. My novel, romantic suspense novel, Plush Life, is being re-released by Ginger Blue Publishing with an extended epilogue. And in March, my first mystery co-written with B.B. Bayless, Falls Girl, is coming from Ginger Blue as well.
Okay. Sumiko?
Yeah, you can find me at www.sumikosaulsen.com. Also on the socials, I am Sumiko SKA. And what I have upcoming is there's going to be a sequel to Happiness and Other Diseases. It is called Somalia. So that's the second book in the Metamorphoses of Flynn Cary, which you can find on bocamemoirspress.com.
Okay. And Mel?
You can find me at badashpublishing.com or meltodd.com. Most of my social media is as Bad Ash Books. Note that I'm saying ASH, not what I'm sitting on. And I just completed an 8-book series that came out in November, and I have more books coming out next year.
And my website is nancynorthcott.com. I'm still on X, or whatever it's called this week, as at Nancy Northcott. On Blue Sky as Nancy North. I have a Facebook author page, but I'm almost never there, so that's not the best place to find me. I'm most active, alas, on X. So thank you, everyone, for participating in the panel tonight. Thank you to everyone who's watching. And thank you to our sponsors, Heroes Aren't Hard to Find and Heroes Convention. For more information on them, visit heroesonline.com.